Well. You find yourself at this point of the year, it's May, and you're wondering, should I buy the current iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max, or should I just wait for the iPhone 16 Pros and Pro Maxes? Well, today I'll answer those questions for you as best as I can. But while I do that, I will unbox the iPhone 15 Pro in natural titanium. So let's get into it. This is a Pro. I haven't had a Pro this year. So again, come on. This is a different route for me. I'm going small because again, recently I just unboxed the iPad Pro 11-inch. So again, we're gonna take a look and see. Answer two questions really: is small better? And is it worth upgrading now or later? I already feel a major difference between these two. Not like this was heavy whatsoever, but going from this to this, it's going to be interesting. Now, put this to the side for now. Like, that's a way better mashup here. I'm definitely going to, kind of rock that combo when I go out. But we all know what y'all love. Satisfying. Pure screen, USB-C, of course, speaker grills on the bottom, speaker hole as well as the dynamic island up top. You got the power button on the right, as well as your Siri. You got your volume up and volume down, as well as the new button. I forgot the name of it already, but again, it is what it is. Y'all have probably seen 1,000 unboxings at this point if you're on my channel. Let's go ahead and see what kind of juice they gave me. And I'm gonna compare, let's see. So, pretty nice size difference, but weight, of course, definitely lighter here. So while I'm waiting for this, let me just answer one main question. Should you wait? The answer is probably so. Because here's the thing. You're probably going to be able to get, and we all know how Apple does, you're going to be able to get a better deal on something like this in 4 months. But 4 months is a long time. If you need a phone like right now, screw it. Go ahead and just upgrade. Because again, if you have like a 12 Pro Max, 13 Pro Max, at this point you might as well, because I'm sure battery life is degrading. Certain functionalities that you may have had are now going out. Like some people, you may not even, let me go ahead and unlock this and give you guys something to look at. But you guys may, like, it may not even scroll as fast anymore. Like your messages sending slow, AirDrop not working. Sometimes the phone may not even update after a certain point. So, and I'm going to show you guys this in live time, how to do this. Because some people don't know how to transfer, believe it or not. So I'm going to help a lot of people out with this little simple tutorial. I'm going to go ahead and put my passcode in and face behind the camera. So we got that. So all you really do is when that pop-up pops up, just hit continue, put your Face ID in. I'm giving y'all a lot of tutorials and advice in one simple video. So when you have it like this, you basically hold the phone over the other. Make sure you get that little symbol, a little glowing ball in the circle. Once that's the case, you'll come back, put the passcode in. Well, it'll say set up for me. You'll click that if you're setting it up for yourself. Of course, put your passcode in. And guys, yes, I'm breathing heavy because, again, it's hot in here. Every time I do a video, have the ring light on, other lights, windows open. It's not exactly cool today. Don't have my air on just yet because, again, just conserving energy. But once you do that, you'll reach this screen here. Just to make sure ain't nothing crazy going on. You'll see setting up cellular. This is probably the most efficient way to get all of your information off of your old phone. However, you can do a backup and still be able to get into most things. The one thing about a backup is it mirrors it from the last backup. The side-by-side method, as I call it, is where you're going to get everything that you currently have right now, provided your new and old phone has enough storage to even transfer in the first place. So let's keep that in mind. Make sure that you guys have enough information, have enough space to transfer. All right. That's complete. And if you see the number on the screen in the video, that doesn't matter because I'm actually not going to use that number. That's just something I did for this particular video only. But for the rest of this stuff, you can set it up. You can skip it. I'm just going to skip it for now. But what I am going to do is transfer from iPhone. I'm going to put my stuff on this one for the time being before I actually sell it or do whatever, use it for other tests and stuff. Because again, that's just what I do. I'm a YouTuber. Can honestly say that at this point. I'm a YouTuber. Now, the one thing I do hate about these transfers is the software updates. You have to wait on them. And again, Apple drops software updates every so often. So this cycle basically never ends until they just take longer on one, and then all of their phones are seemingly up to date when you take them out of the box and help people transfer. Because again, I do this for a living, so most of the time, a lot of people have to sit there in the stores just to wait for the information to transfer. But back to the subject at hand. Number one, should you wait? Like I said before, if you need a phone right now, go ahead and get it. But if you're that person that likes to have the latest and greatest, I personally would say wait, because again, 4 months is not that long of a time, especially if you got like a 14 Pro Max. Even if you have a 13 Pro Max and it's working perfectly fine, then that is definitely worth the wait. Now, for those of you that actually have a 13 Pro Max, let me go ahead and advise you. If you can get your iPhone 15 Pro Max or the 16 Pro Max outside of the US, do it. Because again, it's going to make switching services so much easier, especially if you're the type of person that don't just have one phone. Only Apple that I know of right now has the whole eSIM vibe going on, to where it's like, all right, it's so annoying because you literally have to go in a store, because a lot of these carriers' websites where you can go in and change the IMEI and the eSIM does one or two things. One, it doesn't let you do it at all. And two, if you do it once, there's a delay, so you can't do it until like 48 to 72 hours is up. And somebody like me is like, I rock my Galaxy for certain situations. I rock my Pixel for certain situations. I rock my iPhone in certain situations. So I'm not always just leaning on this one device. Now, the average person, sure, this may work for you. But again, me personally, the whole eSIM thing, I say you should have had two options. And then, like, for those of you that are just worried about security or whatever, just go the eSIM route, and Apple be able to lock it down that way, to where if you do put a physical SIM in it, like it locks it down or something. Like, they smart enough to do something simple like that. So, I mean, that's just me personally. But again, for those of you who have never done this, once this update is done, the phone will shut off. Once it comes back on, you literally have to tell it to basically start the transfer. It'll cut off and cut back on for the verification of the update. However, you will need to unlock it. For those of you just letting it sit there after the update is done, no, you literally have to unlock it, go back in and hit continue in order to make sure that your information is still transferring. Now, again, I'm still jumping off subject, but as far as Pro versus Pro Max, that is going to take some more time. I'll get back with you guys on a more thorough test about that and what I've come up with, which one I prefer. Because again, I've had the Max for so long. It's like, all right, is it worth having? Is it that much more information on the screen? Is it giving me a benefit to having this bigger size outside of the battery? Because again, the battery is the main thing that the bigger phone is for. Outside of that, it's like, all right, the font, don't let that fool you either. Like, people get this phone thinking like, oh, I can see it better. Yeah, to a degree, but font sizes on both are the same. So if you could just literally turn the font up on the smaller one, then you'll be basically looking at something that could be the same. But now with the iPhone 16 series, here's my prediction. Outside of a 15 to 20% faster chip, maybe some refinements to the titanium itself, or like the back or something, I don't think you're going to get like this super modern display. Like, it's going to get a little brighter. Like, phones up to, I think it was this one phone I saw a video on, it's like up to 3, 4, 5,000 nits of brightness. It's like, all right, I can see the phone outside at 2. So it's like anything else is a bonus. So, hey. But not that we complaining, but again, you got to realize brighter screen, more battery drain. So keep that in mind about that brightness thing. Phone is very loud. The quality of the music is good, has been good on Apple. I don't think they're going to make any refinements in that category. The biggest change from the previous year was USB-C. Again, I mean, so what can you do, like hardware-wise, for Apple to make it better at this point? I mean, they may make the camera lenses a little wider because of the simple fact that, hey, they want you to buy new cases and things like that. It's not like the camera have made leaps and bounds because, again, some people prefer Galaxy, some people prefer Pixels when it comes to still photos. Of course, videos, Apple is still reigning supreme. Like, the other companies are like right there, depending on like whether you like your videos to have cool tone or warmer tone, but the smoothness still goes to Apple when it comes to zooming in and zooming out when you're recording. So again, if you're a vlogger, Apple still is the best way to go when it comes to that. I won't deny that at all. However, it's like once you get to this point, it's like, all right, they have to double down on software to make it, to me, at least a little bit more customizable. Like, I forgot which iOS started the whole lock screen thing. But if they go to software, it's like people could still keep their old phone and get similar features. So it's like, what do you do, Apple? That's my thing. It's like, if you're a person that's in the 14, 15 and going to the 16, or anywhere between the 14 to the 16, there are hardly any changes between these three. I feel like, all right, you went from stainless steel to titanium. Whoop-de-doo. Everybody don't like that because, again, if you look at GameStop right now, and I don't know if this is just a GameStop thing or is it something I'm missing, the actual iPhone 14 Pro Max trades in for more than an iPhone 15 Pro Max. So, hey, I don't know if it's something they took out. I don't know if it's what that means, but that's not sitting well with me. And like, that's across the board. Outside of that, if you're the type of person like, hey, I want to trade in my phone, I need some quick cash, I gotta have it, and just use it to upgrade. If you got that 14 Pro Max, not the 13 Pro Max, but if you had that 14 Pro Max, hold on to that bad boy. Don't trade that in to no outside carrier or even your own carrier till you see some updates from me or somebody else online about that particular phone, because I don't know what it is about that one, but they definitely giving more money for it. But to me personally, I don't think it's going to be that many changes to the 16 versus the 15 that you must wait 4 months for. However, financially speaking, there is no reason to get into this and then turn around and try to get into the 16 through trade-in or retail or whatever. If you do happen to get into this or have just gotten into this and just now catching this video and feel like you're going to want the 16 because everybody wants that new thing, go ahead and take it to an Apple store. I wouldn't recommend going through your carrier because you have to stay with them for 2 to 3 years. And you're literally going, if you don't stay that amount of time, you literally have just given up your phone in so many words. However, if you take it to Apple, same thing with Samsung, if you take the phones to the source, let's just say if they give me $500 for this phone versus my carrier giving me $1,000. In 2 years, if I upgrade, it's like, all right, I have given up that phone and I'm not completely going to be able to get the $1,000. They're not giving you $1,000, you pay $200 and your phone is paid off. Please let that not sink in your mind, because that's what a lot of people misunderstand. When you're doing a upgrade through your carrier and trading in a phone, you must, and I do mean must, keep that agreement 3 years to get the full benefit of your trade, or 2 years or whatever your carrier does. If you go to Apple or Samsung, but we're going to talk about Apple. If you go to an Apple store, 9 times out of 10, you can still do it through your carrier at an Apple store. However, if you go to the Apple store and want to trade in your phone, like cash version, and they giving me $500 for this one still, I take getting that $500, paying the other 5, 6, 7, whatever it is, if I save up for it, on this phone, and you can take it to any carrier and your phone bill is going to be a lot, I do mean a lot less, and you won't feel like you're actually stuck or giving up anything. I know that's not what the average person does. Now, I'm not telling you to drive to an Apple store for just a plain old upgrade, but if you're going to buy a phone, most carriers don't allow you, and secondly, you get a better deal going to the Apple store in that aspect. I will give them credit for that. But again, I personally am going to get the 16 either way. But for you, you may not be able to do that. So again, I'd advise you, if you have a 14 or 13, save up your money, wait, go to an Apple store, trade it in, pay the difference, own it, keep your phone bill down, and go on about your business. If you don't want to do that and going through your carrier is the best route, then hey, do that too. But just realize you're going to be stuck for those 3 years. And I personally don't think the 16 will be worth it. That's just my prediction. We'll get back into that when it comes, and hopefully I remember hopefully I won't eat my words from this video. Outside of that, I'll catch you guys with another video later on which one of these two I like better. And after that, I'll drop something else. But this has been the iPhone 15 Pro. Catch you guys in the next video. Deuces.
Essence, born with less, but you still precious. Just smell foam in there.